Hi, welcome again to this is series 9 or episode 9 of this Breathe and Be Still series. And today I wanted to start to again incorporate some breath and movement where the breath is going to lead the practice, like a moving meditation. In yoga we call that Dharana, which is concentrating on one thing, and that's going to be the breath. And of course we're moving with that. But we really want to focus on breath leading the movement. I want to incorporate some longer exhales to help balance out the nervous system, and you'll figure out what's right for you. We will come into some breath holds at the end of exhalation, and we've learned a lot about this over the past 9 weeks that I'm not going to get too heavy into philosophy or into the science around breathing, but we do know that Patanjali, who wrote or collected the book of the Yoga Sutras and put those sutras together, recommended one of the ways that we could quieten and still the mind was by using our breath. So we're going to work with that today. We also know through science and also through the yoga philosophy that extending our exhales helps to balance our nervous system and calm our nervous system. It's good for our vagal tone, and it's also good for our HRV. And we're going to increase a tolerance to carbon dioxide at some stage by doing some gentle breath retentions. But I want you to be really mindful about that. If it feels too much for you, then I want you please to take a breath during those breath retentions instead of holding the breath. We'll work with a ratio of in for 3 and out for 5. Now that may or may not, some of you may have much more capacity than that, but I think that's a nice middle ground to start with. It might challenge some of you a little more, and it might be a little more comfortable for others. But when you're practicing on your own, you can start to make those changes and adapt the breath work to work with your body. So I'm sitting up onto my seat here, and I like this because it gives me support for my back body, but you definitely don't need it. The only thing that I do suggest is when you're sitting, if it feels like you're falling backwards and your pelvis is tucking under, then please elevate the hips so you get a neutral spine, and that's a much better position for us to work from than kind of in this crunched position. We've talked a lot about posture, so looking for a nice tall posture where the ears, shoulders and hips are in line. Clearing the decks. I've got some blocks here. You may like to have your blocks at some point just to help you come up into a standing position, but not necessary. So reach the fingertips to either side of the hips and grow the spine nice and tall. Gently place the tip of the tongue behind the front teeth, just on the gum line there. And start to check and see that you're breathing in and out through the nose. And in yoga, often we set an intention and we call that a sankalpa. And so today, if you're comfortable with it, let's set the intention to really be present with our breath. That the breath becomes the entire focus. Even if we lose our way in the yoga, that we still maintain the breath. So we'll start with some seated flow, just to warm up some of the muscles of the breath that help with the breath, opening the chest, creating some space so that our breath can be full. And as I said, we'll breathe in for 3 and out for 5. So let's float the arms up for a count of 3. And then exhale, soften the shoulders and slowly float them down for 5. In for 3. And out for 5. One more. Inhale, let's raise the arms up and bring the palms to touch. And then nice firm press of the hands as you come down through center for that count of 5. Inhale, up we go. Exhale, we're going to bend the elbows, lift the chest, lift from the back of the heart. Straighten the arms, straighten the spine. Exhale, down we go softly for 5. Inhale for 3. Down through center. Up we come for 3. Bend the elbows, lift the chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades gently down the back, broaden the collarbones. We straighten the spine, straighten the arms. Exhaling, slowly relax back down again. Inhale. Down through center. Up we come. Exhaling for 5. 3, 2, 1. We're going to hold here. Nice full breath into the chest for 3. Exhale for 5. Draw the navel back. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale over for 5. Bring your left hand down onto the floor and we're going to lean to the left. Inhale, come on back up for a count of 3. Relax your shoulders down and then over to that right side for a count of 5. Inhaling up for 3. Over for 5. Up we come. The next one we're going to hold, coming back down for 5, really slow movement. Like I said, it's like a moving meditation. Anchor back down into your right sitting bone and relax that right shoulder away from the ears. You could choose to look up towards the ceiling or up towards your elbow, or you could choose to look down towards the floor, or you could stay looking forward towards me. Again, let's just have a couple of cycles of breath where we're breathing in for 3 and out for 5. Feeling that beautiful expansion that happens on the inhale through the side body. Exhaling. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale over to the right. We anchor back down into that left sitting bone. Find the position that works best for your neck and your gaze. And just back to focusing on the breath, in and out through the nose, longer exhales to really calm the nervous system. Inhaling up for 3. Exhale, down for 5, hands to prayer. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, we're going to bend the elbows like a goalpost and turn towards that left side. Inhale, float the arms back up. Turn towards the right. Keep a nice tall spine. Squeeze your navel back gently as you empty the breath. Inhaling. And exhale, we turn. Up for 3. Exhale for 5. We're going to hold again on the left side. We're going to turn. Out for 5. Then you can add your arms, your right hand over your left thigh, left fingertips down onto the floor behind you or onto your low back. And I want you to try and grow a little taller from that. So find a little bit more length. You can use your hand to gently encourage your upper body to turn a little more towards the left. Don't just crank your neck back. Just turn your head only as far as it comfortably goes, following the torso rather than the neck. And let's try a breath hold here. So we'll inhale for 3, grow a little taller. Exhaling for 5. Draw the navel back, lift through the pelvic floor, and then hold the breath out, just for a count of 2. Inhale for 3. Exhale, empty the breath for 5. Hold the navel back, hold the breath out, or not. If it's challenging, take another breath. And then inhale to float your arms back up. Exhale, we're going to turn towards that right side. Add your arms here. Use the back arm like a second spine. Really widen across your collarbones. Lift up tall, broaden across the front of the chest. Feel as though your shoulder blades are like someone's hands gently pressing onto the back of the rib cage to lift your heart a little more. And then inhale to grow a little taller. Exhale, empty for 5, and see if you can turn the ribs a little more towards that right side. Inhale, maybe this time on the exhale, we hold the breath out. Inhale to float the arms up. Exhale, come back down through center. And then just rest your hands onto your lap, palms facing up if that feels okay for you. Just gently close the eyes down and just take a moment just to observe the effects of moving that way. There's no judgment. If it's challenging, it's challenging, but just notice that. If it's easy, notice that. If you're bored with it, notice that. So it doesn't matter, there's no right or wrong, we're just observing and we're really watching the breath, and whatever comes up, we just put it to the side and drop ourselves back into that breath again. Nice work. Let's come to tabletop. Shifting any props out of the way, but if you did want to have yoga blocks to extend your arms to come up into a standing position when we get there, just have them near the top of the mat. Otherwise we're going to have our hands in under our shoulders, knees in under our hips, wrap the eyes of the elbows forward. So if you were to do a press up, the elbows would go back towards the knees rather than flare out to the sides. Roll the eyes of the elbows forward, press your knuckles into the mat, hug an imaginary block between your forearms and find a neutral spine. Sometimes we come into this shape and we kind of drop our heads off our shoulders. So lift up through the back of the neck. Slide your shoulders away from your ears so you feel as though your neck lengthens. And just start to find the rhythm of your breath again. In for 3 and out for 5. And then we're going to breathe in for 3, looking forward, let the belly drop slightly, pop the chest forward. And then exhale, push the floor away, curl the tail under, upper back to ceiling. Inhale for 3, feel like you're trying to pull your hands gently back towards the knees. Exhaling for 5. 2 more. See if you can pause at the end of this exhale, pushing the upper back towards the ceiling, holding the breath out. Inhale, come back to neutral. Push your hips back towards your heels, rest down onto your forearms for a moment and just let the breath settle again. 2 natural breaths here. Let go of any control of the breath. And then from here, we're going to make our way to standing, so you can transition through a downward facing dog, which would be lifting the hips up and stepping forward. But sometimes having some props to lengthen our arms makes that transition a little easier. So you're same thing here, lifting the hips And then just slowly and gently stepping your feet towards the top of the mat. Some of you might even be happier turning the blocks onto the higher setting. And then parallel your feet here, soften your knees and gently let yourself hang forward. Give the head a little nod yes and a little shake no. When we come into this inverted position, our diaphragm can kind of lift upwards without us using the breath. It can be a little more challenging to get a full breath in because we're also sending a lot more blood towards the heart, the volume's increasing. But it can be nice to get a long, slow exhale. Completely relax on the exhale. And then soften into the knees, press into the feet and roll yourself up vertebra by vertebra. Once you get to upright, just roll your palms to face forward. Take a moment again just to observe. We're going to move into some sun salutations, and that's going to ask a little bit more of our breath. So it might be a little more challenging, but it's okay. We're just going to increase our tolerance to carbon dioxide by doing this, and it gives us a little bit more to focus on. Again, if the breath holds feel too much, please don't hold the breath. Just let your breath have a couple of cycles of natural breath and then come back into the breathing rhythm. So just check the placement of your feet. About hip width, spread your feet nice and wide. Find an even amount of weight between the front of the foot and the back of the foot so you're not scrunching into the toes or leaning into the heels. Just imagine you've got a gentle corseting around the torso that's keeping you supported and upright. Roll your shoulders back and down, palms are slightly forward so you can see your thumbs out of the periphery as we raise the arms. So we'll inhale to sweep the arms up. If you feel okay, you can look up. And then exhale, float down for 5. Inhaling up. Exhale, down we go. Up we come. Down for 5. Similar to what we did when we were seated, up we come. We're going to bring our hands down through prayer for 5. Up for 3. Just going to turn sideways so you can see. Exhale, I want you to draw the navel back. Gently squeeze the pubic bone towards the navel. Don't flare the ribs out. Bend the elbows into that goalpost shape. Inhale, coming up right again for 3. And again, we're going to exhale for 5. Inhale for 3. Exhaling. In for 3. You're going to take your right hand and catch your left wrist. And we're going to lean towards that right side. Push down through the feet evenly. Inhale up for 3. Flip the grip and take it to the left. Inhale, up you come. And then exhale, let's bring the hands down to prayer. Press the palms nice and firmly together. And then we're going to turn our torso, but not our hips. We're going to take them towards the left. Pull your left hip forward. Keep the thumbs right into the center of the chest. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale for 5 to the right. Pull that right hip forward. Inhale back to center. Exhaling for 5. Keep growing tall. Inhale to center. Exhale, over we go. Come back through center for 3. We're going to try a breath hold here. Press the palms together. We turn for 5. Hold the breath out if you can. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, we go to the right. Draw the navel back, hold that breath out. Inhaling, back we come. Inhale, you're going to sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands to prayer, soften the knees and folding forward. Again, I said, like a moving meditation, lead from the heart. Curl yourself in towards the body. Inhale, straight arms, straight spine. Exhaling for 5. Curl in towards yourself. Inhale for 3. Lift up through the back of the neck. Exhale for 5. We're going to hold here once you've exhaled and see if you can hold that breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Squeeze the breath out. Now I want you to see if you can hold the breath out and roll yourself all the way up to standing. And then inhale for 3. Exhaling for 5. Squeeze the breath out. Hold it out if you can. Inhale for 3. Straight arms, straight spine. Exhale, we fold for 5. Hold that breath out. Inhaling, roll the shoulders down the back, broaden across the front of the chest. Exhale, down we go. Hold the breath out if you can. Soften the knees, heavy arms, heavy head. Roll yourself up on an empty breath. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, one more round. Inhale for 3. Exhale for 5. Hold the breath out. Inhale for 3, torso parallel to the earth. Exhale for 5. Hold the breath. Roll yourself up. Full inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands to prayer. If you're comfortable with the eyes closed, just keep the eyes closed, or if it feels more stable for you to be gently looking towards the floor, just pause here. I really want you to observe that. As I said, when our metabolic need goes up from movement, it's a little bit more challenging controlling the breath. Let your breath just find its own rhythm. And then let's make our way back down to the floor. Inhale to float the arms up. Exhale for 5. Curl in. Hands to shins, straight arms, straight spine for 3. Exhaling, bend the knees, hands to the blocks or down onto the floor. And then stepping ourselves back, knees down, toes together, knees apart. Push your hips back towards your heels and make a little stack for your hands to rest your forehead onto, or cross the palms or rest your forehead on the floor. And I want you to let your body feel really soft and heavy now. There's a little compression that's happening between the thighs and the belly. So just for a few cycles again, we'll come into in for 3 and out for 5, but I want you to be really soft on the exhale. Let the body sink. Let gravity take a hold. Let go of any control of the breath. Let the breath just find its own rhythm. And then use the hands to support you, just to roll yourself up into a kneeling position, just for long enough to transition over onto your back. Come on down onto your back. Actually, come onto your side. It's a bad habit to roll back that way. So just come down onto your side first and then onto your back. And you could put a pillow in under your head. Just separate your feet out a little wider than hip width, about mat width even, and just rock your knees gently from side to side. And you could let the knees fall together. You could take the legs out long. I really would like you to spend at least a few minutes in Shavasana. Often we rush out of our practice and we skip Shavasana. Shavasana is such an important part to integrate the practice. It's like the download of all the information we have been programming into our body. You could put some support in under the knees. Foam blocks are quite nice, or a bolster. If you're liking this connection with the feeling of the breath, then you're welcome to leave your hands resting onto your body, or you could take your arms a little further away from the body, palms facing up, so we've opened through the chest. And then again, just for a few cycles, just observe the breath. We're not asking it to do anything now. I just want you to notice it. Slow nasal breathing, and without making the breath longer, I want you just to relax completely on the exhale, so that maybe the exhale becomes a little bit longer. Not by force, just by letting go. If you have time, then I recommend that you stay here for a bit longer still. But if you've come to the end of the practice, I want you to move really slowly. Shift your hips off to one side and roll off to a side. And before you rush into seated, just curl your knees towards your nose towards your knees. And take a moment here in this kind of embryo fetal position, just to allow yourself time. And then instead of asking the body to kind of engage too quickly, the arms usually are pretty comfortable turning on first, and then you can roll yourself up vertebra by vertebra, coming into any seated position. If you're joining me, if you're happy to stay in Shavasana, please just zone me out. Once you are upright, just find your nice tall spine. Close the eyes or drop the gaze and just observe the effects of the practice. How did today's practice impact the physical body? How was the breath? No judgment, but just noticing, was it comfortable? Was it challenging? Did it change from moving to standing from seated? How did you feel at the very end when you lay in Shavasana? And then also seeing if you managed to quieten the mind, the chitta vrittis. And let's gently press the palms together, rest the thumbs just at the center of the chest. And take a moment just to bow down to yourselves and to all of those who are practicing with you at the same time, whether it be in the same space. Bow down to yourselves and to each other. Namaste. Well done.